There might be beliefs living in your mind right now, and you don't even know about them. However, they quietly shape your every decision, your every fear, and every moment of self doubt. And this video isn't here to fix you, but it's here to show you your potential programming and potential lies that might be really controlling your life without you realizing that. It's here to point out, to help you to reveal the programming that kept you stuck so that you are aware of them and therefore take the first step to come home to your true, authentic self. Hi, my name is Edith, and I believe in the beauty of being real. And this is exactly what you will find on my channel and what I'm talking about here about realness, authenticity, self trust. And with that all comes, of course, the confidence and the overall peace with yourself. And that's why we are here today. Because for years I thought I was broken, weird, or a bad person in generally. But then I realized that this is actually all programming. This has nothing to do with personality. And so let's strip away the noise together. I've got for you 11 sneaky lies that I've identified myself throughout the process of becoming my authentic self, of stripping away everything that doesn't belong to me and that no longer serves me and never had actually. And these are the thoughts and lies that they might feel even comfortable, as ridiculous as it might sound. Because comfort is often connected with the feeling of safety and the feeling of being stuck. Because we're safe when we don't do anything, when we're just. There is this saying that if we don't do anything, we don't fuck up anything. So, this is kind of the bad characteristics of these lies that aren't yours. And you can decide if you will keep them or kick them out. Let's dive in. The first lie: if I fail, I'm a failure. There were nights I couldn't fall asleep because I was overthinking every damn thing throughout the day that I've said weirdly, that I've said in a way that embarrassed me, what I did wrong, what I didn't finish. And let me tell you, one unfinished project for me felt like I'm a failure, felt like I'm now on this bad side. Like everything I would ever done suddenly didn't count. In science, this is called labeling. It's a cognitive distortion where we define ourselves by only one event. And people who constantly label themselves like this tend to have more anxiety and are more depressive. And so what this means for us, if we keep engaging in this labeling pattern, we are more likely to avoid every risk that is out there. We are going to talk ourselves out of our dreams and mind that our dream isn't there just because. The dream and this desire is there for you because it is telling you something. But we tend to over analyze and we tend to talk ourselves out of that. And we tend to rationalize why this is not the time. Why am I not right now in the state where I would be thriving, but I'm not. So I will just push it away for a while. I will postpone this dream of mine, and then when I'm ready, I will come back to it. This is also a lie. You will never feel ready. And so you would settle, not because that you would be not capable, but you would be terrified to even try. However, if you drop this lie, you will become such a free person. You will breathe in freedom. And you will try. You will go out to the world. You will try. You will fall. And you will laugh about it. Because you know that failure has been always feedback and nothing else but feedback. And you can have your feedback. You can learn the lesson because from feedback we learn the lessons and you can move on. And eventually you will get to the point where you want. But people are really terrified of failures. And I find it very sad to see so many potential being thrown out of the window just because others said something. And then you will start to build a life that actually expands you, not just a life that feels safe. Lie number 2: I must be perfect in order to be loved. This one is huge. I thought that if I would show my mess, my chaos within me, and my weak parts of myself, people would leave. And so, what I did, I started polishing myself like a glass. I started to hyperanalyze and to over control myself. I was very, very picky on words, and therefore, I was always in this tension. I always wanted to say the right thing, the thing that other person wanted to hear, not what I wanted to say, because I thought that if I say right things, then I am right person. Psychologists call this a socially prescribed perfectionism. This is a fancy word of saying something between people pleasing and something between creating such a perfect mask that no one has ever the chance to relate to you, which is also kind of counterproductive, right? And consequently, this leads to more anxiety, less self-worth, more depression, and deep emotional exhaustion, because now you're like chameleon. Is it correctly pronounced? I believe so. Chameleon, you know, this little animal. You're changing your moods, you're changing your seriousness based on other people. And this takes so much energy that if you drop it, you will feel like someone has just cleared out the walls of your imaginary prison. And therefore, if you will keep engaging in this, you will wear a mask that has never been yours, and people are not really going to know you, but they're going to see, talk to, and like your well curated mask. And they're not gonna love you for who you are because you will never show it. And therefore, there is going to be this emptiness that is. You cannot really use words. I wish that no one really feels that. It's really such a lonely experience. And people will like you, but mind that you will connect with people who are energetically like connected with you, and therefore you cannot really connect with true authentic people if you're not one yourself. And therefore expect that if you will keep engaging in this, you won't connect and you won't attract authentic people. If you don't want to, it's okay, but I believe that everyone who has ever had any connection with someone authentic would never go back. And so if you will drop this lie, you'll be loved for your humanness. You'll be loved for who you really are, with all the weakness points and with your vulnerability. That is going to be such a huge value. And you will finally find people who will breathe with you, literally, and not those who will expect you to perform. Third lie: others' opinions define me. Every time I would raise my hand in school, or every time I would speak up for myself, every time I'm also a dancer, every time I would go full out, go and express myself through dance as I wanted, I would always have this little weird thought that said, well, what will they say? What will they think about me? And then the whole effort dropped. I sometimes put my hand down. I slowed down when I was dancing because I didn't want to be too extra. But you absolutely want to be extra if you want to be. The extra something is telling you to stand out, so do that. Because if you don't, you will make your life choices dependent on what's acceptable and what's not, what the conventions say, what the system says, so that they wouldn't talk something about you. Or why do we even have this lie? Why do we even have this thought that other people's opinions matter? And let me tell you, if you're a creative person, this is one of the biggest limits that artists ever have. And if you really work through it, and with diligence and persistence and with compassion, and you will really suddenly just get rid of this lie, you'll feel like a butterfly, like a brand new butterfly in a beautiful sunny day, and the life will feel so light, and you will start to express yourself as you want. You'll start to be more creative. There will be the creative flow. And why it's called flow? Because it's something is gonna literally flow into you, because you just removed the limit, you removed the barrier. It's very powerful. Fourth lie: change is dangerous. I also sticked to the comfort, even though it hurt, because our brain doesn't care what is good for us and what is bad for us in terms of growth, for example. Our brain, their main function is to keep us safe and therefore in comfort. We seek what is familiar and what is known. And the science shows that our brains are literally wired to resist uncertainty. And so if you will keep engaging in this lie subconsciously, well, now it's no longer subconscious, but if you will still, even though you know everything, every information, if you will still keep practicing this lie, you will stay in jobs that you've outgrown very, very long time ago. You will stay in relationships that drain you, that don't inspire you, but rather they are creating another problems and they feel toxic. But you just don't like change. You know the part of change where it's before and after? There is this little gap. And this gap is really messy and chaotic and really uncomfortable. However, if you will drop this lie, you will start to finally choose yourself, and you will build a life that is based on truth, on your truth, and not your fear. Lie number 5: my worth is tied to my productivity. In my case, if I wasn't working, I felt guilty. I felt like I don't deserve to rest, to relax for a bit. And science show that chronic over-identification with the productivity that is precede to burnout and to break down in work and in your life in general. You get fed up. It's too much. You have no more energy. You don't even want to think about it. Because what comes up must come down. And so if your effort, if your every damn thought was about work, there is gonna be the point where it will all fall down. And so if you keep engaging in this lie and identifying your worth with your productivity, there will be very soon a moment where you'll forget who you really are outside of what you produce. However, if you put away this lie and throw it away, you'll reclaim your joy. You'll find worth in stillness. And you will remember that you're worthy just right now, just as you're watching this video. You're worthy from being, because you are being. You're worthy because of that. You know that there is almost 0% probability that you're gonna be born, and you think that you're not worthy? Lie number 6: I cannot trust my instincts. Myself, I ignored my gut feeling for so long that I didn't even know anymore how it sounded, how it felt if I had this gut feeling. However, if you feel like your gut instincts are wrong, they really might be, but only because this one reason: your mind, your subconscious mind, is programmed in a self-destructing, self-doubting way that is based on fear and on limiting beliefs. Because in gut, there is literally part of a nerve that is connected with the subconsciousness very, very tightly. And therefore, it makes sense if your subconscious mind is programmed in a bad, limiting way, your gut will tell you by their instincts to go somewhere where you will still engage those limiting beliefs. So, what is the root cause? The programming of the subconscious mind. However, if you really invest this time in yourself, if you're really gonna do the work and put the time and invest the time within yourself and in your future, your instincts are gonna be spot on. You don't have to worry about it. You just have to then listen. Lie number 7 is very strongly connected with the productivity and with the inability to rest. But this, we look at it from a little different point. So stay with me here. This one is that I need to be busy all the time. And why? Because busyness, in my case, for example, it made me numb. It made as if someone would be binge eating or binge watching something. You're binge working. And so you don't have the time to face your uncomfortable feelings. This is usually what it is. This is usually the root cause why we overwork. Workaholics are really people that are somewhat avoiding to face the feelings when they would be still. The rest activates the brain's creativity network, the default mode network. And so if you keep believing this lie and if you stay in if you keep believing in this lie and keep engaging in that, you'll always stay distracted. You'll never have the time to actually sit down and process. Is it even mine, this goal that I'm chasing? Is this job making me actually happy? Why haven't I seen my kids for such a long time? You will always run, but you will never arrive anywhere. However, if you drop this, you'll have the time to finally prioritize and maybe realize that, okay, this is time to pivot, to do something else. This has been actually leading me towards my burnout because I wouldn't really see any value in that. I just saw, the only value that I saw in this was that it was numbing my emotions and I didn't have the time to really process. That was the only benefit. And so you will let yourself feel your life again and you will create the space of what actually matters. Lie number 8. I should have it all figured out by now. And this is very, very personal and for such a very long time, even now, I'm kind of still battling with it. Because we all see, for example, these kids as they are successful and, for example, in my case, dancing and making music, people usually started from basically their childhood, And so I was always tending to just about any person who was somehow successful look up their age so that I would somehow confirm something or then so that I would make myself more stressed maybe. And so what we now should realize that personal development is not a linear thing. It has never been. And there is no such a thing as being able to compare two lives together. Everyone is unique, and that is maybe the beauty of it. Maybe you starting late would inspire someone who is maybe even older than you, but would see you, how you're doing your thing, no matter what others say. And so he will be like, okay, but this person, I can relate to him or her. So I'm gonna freaking start the business I wanted to always start, or I'm going to apply for that job because I see someone that I know and that I'm somewhat emotionally connected with as they're doing their own stuff, their craft, their career, that they're thriving and they're enjoying. And even better if they know you, how you started, because this is even more relatable. And so don't be scared to be vulnerable. You never know who is watching and who is inspired so much. Lie number 9: success means sacrificing your personal life. Well, I believe that being kind of chill and rest anytime I want doesn't and cannot work with ambition. However, I feel like we already know that life and work balance has to work together in order to avoid the burnout. And so, if you will still engage in this lie, you will keep being successful in the external world. But inside, you will be hollow, empty. And you might even start to wonder, why did I want this type of success in the first place? However, if you drop this feeling of the need to sacrifice your personal life, your family time, your free time, your creative time, your time with friends, and time to see beautiful places in this world, you'll create a rich, extraordinary life full of depth and drive as well. Because as you're now going to experience and let yourself experience so many things, you'll get such a huge package of ideas. You have to try this one. And success will feel good again. Lie number 10: I need to have the perfect plan before I start. Now, don't get me wrong, planning and strategy is very important when you want to achieve something. It's crucial, but only to a certain limit. There is this very thin line between being well prepared in terms of like expertise and in terms of good strategy and tactics. But then it's called procrastination, and it's called delaying the stuff that could have been done from the day one, but we delay it often just because we feel the fear of uncertainty. And so we keep coming up with new stuff, and I'm so guilty for this, because planning is my, I would say planning is my passion, but it's not really. It wasn't really my passion. It was really a passion to avoid anything that wasn't known, anything that I didn't experience yet. And so I'd rather like stay and plan in order to feel that I'm productive, in order to feel that I'm doing something for the goal. But planning isn't doing the goal. What's doing the stuff that is needed to get to the goal is actually just doing the stuff that is needed to get to the goal. And a lot of people just postpone the action because of that fear of, oh, what would happen? Like, I'm not sure, this is a new field. I'm like, they might feel so anxious even. But they might not realize that taking action is actually removing the anxiousness. It's the taking action that reduces anxiety. And the last lie, that's the most important one in my opinion. It's the feeling that I'm all alone in this. That this is only me who feels like this. And even though I myself looked like I could have had it all together, even though I really didn't, I still kept asking myself, but others seem so driven, others seem so like fulfilled by this career or this field in the studies that I'm doing. They feel like, I feel like it's very natural to learn about this topic that we're learning about. Why am I forcing things? Why do I need to force it? And so I felt like really I'm the only one who is having this weird disconnection. Unfortunately, when I read this statistic, I was shocked because 72% of professionals report some kind of disconnection from their purpose in the work. in the stuff that they're doing. If you keep believing in this, you'll stay silent. You'll stay within your bubble where you will really feel alone because you're there only by yourself and you don't let anyone else to come in and to help you. You might also isolate and you'll pretend that everything is okay. If you drop this, you'll find a community and you'll realize that there are lots of people feeling the same and that this is no shame in feeling like this. And it's something that we can work on and we can always change. And this might be also a very beautiful moment for me to invite you into our community by either subscribing or writing down something in the comment. And before we finish this video, I just want to encourage you. This can be changed. You don't have to feel like you're small. You don't have to feel like there's no one understanding you. You don't have to feel like you cannot rest. You can always choose to just ditch away this one subconscious lie and you can replace it for a better one. And literally without you even doing like extra work, your life will start to shape based on your subconscious beliefs, because this is literally what is happening. Our lives are shaped based on our subconscious beliefs. And so just believe that if you have identified any of these subconscious lies, great. Now you have identified them. Now you are aware of them. And this is literally the first step that was actually the purpose of this video. So I hope that you have taken some kind of value from this or any kind of relatability. And if you want to list more of these subconscious beliefs that you feel like you might have or that you have experienced that other people had, I would be so happy if you would put them in the comments or just put anything in the comment. I love to read comments from you. I read and reply to each one, and yeah, together we can build this self-trusting, beautiful, authentic community, and you might be just part of it. So have a beautiful rest of the day or evening or any time in the day that you're watching this video, and stay awesome. I'm gonna see you on Monday.